Modellista!
Hey guys, welcome back to another PS2 Memories video. Here we are taking a look at a very unique racing game by the name of Modellista that was developed and published by Capcom in different regions around 2002 and 2003. The game also got subsequent releases on the Nintendo GameCube and the Xbox. And unlike other racing games that were created on the system, the game takes a different approach in terms of its visual representation, where it uses the likes of cel-shaded style graphics, where each model and environment looks like it has a cartoon look and feel, almost like it's been hand drawn, which is quite unique, and it really sets the tone and vibe for the game. The game is also comparable to the likes of Gran Turismo, where you have a selection of a massive amount of cars from the JDM market, and in other later versions of the game you had access to some American cars with additional tracks. And like Gran Turismo and even likes of the Need for Speed Underground series, you had access to loads of different customization options for each of the cars in the game. With the amount of cars that were available, you had everything from the likes of the Subaru Impreza 22B STI, the Mitsubishi Evo lineup, even the likes of the EG, EK and EP3 Civics, the Integra Type R, Honda S2000, Nissan Skylines, the R33, R34 GTR. The list was endless in terms of the cars that you had on offer. You even had access to a lot of smaller K-style cars from different brands as well. So there was definitely a unique mix of vehicles available to the player in the game. The game also gave players access to online features where online races could support up to 8 players at any one time, and this helped to enhance the experience of the game, although the online features of the PlayStation 2 back in the day weren't that great, so a lot of the times the online segment could be quite buggy and would crash a lot, as was the case with a lot of games at that time, because online gaming on consoles was relatively a new idea at that point. The game itself, even though as good looking as it is, and it is considered to be one of the best looking racing games of all time, it still ended up getting mixed reviews due to various different issues and glitches in the game when it was first released, leading to an updated version being released a few months after, again with additional features, cars, tracks and so forth, but it still didn't really improve on people's outlook of the game, as at that time it was overshadowed by the likes of Gran Turismo, Need for Speed and other very popular racers on different systems. So the game ended up being caught in kind of a swamp of a vast array of loads of different style of racing games, so there was too many to choose from, and as a result the game often became overlooked and is highly underrated in terms of what it offers. Even though it may not be as well polished in terms of game mechanics compared to other racers, it definitely makes up for its visual representation. As I mentioned, the game itself is considered to be one of the best looking racing games of all time, and especially with the cel shaded visual style, there's no other racing games really around even to this day that have these style of graphics. So it's definitely worth something to try out for sure, just to experience it, and especially if you're into JDM classics with the likes of all the cars. As I mentioned, there's so many to choose from, and again with so many different customization options, you will have just so much fun just going through that area, just customizing the cars, let alone going through the races. But when it does come to the races are fun and enjoyable for the most part, but there is a bit of a learning curve towards the game, as it can take a bit of a while to get used to the handling physics of each of the cars in the game. They can be sometimes quite fiddly and somewhat glitchy. They wouldn't be as fluent as other racers on the system. Another point to note with one of the weaknesses that the game has is the fact is, even with the tracks that are available, there's not enough tracks when you compare it to other games, so it does shorten the lifespan of the game to some degree, which is quite a pity considering the amount of information and options that are on offer. It does lack in some other areas. Even the subsequent releases on other consoles didn't really get better reviews at that point either, which is quite a pity because the game had so much potential. Had the game been released on today's systems with all the unique features and online capabilities, the game might have done a lot better. But that doesn't take away from the fact of the visual style of the game. Even for a PS2 game, it's a beautiful looking game that is as good looking today as it's ever been, which is quite a unique testament to the quality of the development and the design of the game, that it still holds up just as good today. And even with the likes of the environments, you can race from the likes of daytime to even nighttime scenes, so it really does add to the whole characteristic look and feel of the game. Plus it does have also a really good soundtrack that really complements the visual style of the game as well. It really helps to set the tone throughout each of the races, so it can really get you amped up to really enjoy the experience, with really good replay systems as well, where the camera angles give you a really good representation, look and feel of the overall sense of speed in the car and your overall skill levels. All in all, an underrated classic that does deserve to be revisited and does deserve more attention in my opinion. And having played it, even though it isn't as fluid as other racers as I've mentioned, but it's definitely something that's unique, that is different, and it's definitely underrated. And I do think that there's more to it than people say for the most part. So I definitely do think that it is worth re-exploring if you're into racing games and you love JDM style classic cars, and if you love different visual styles of games. I highly recommend that you check this one out, just to experience it and to experience something that is really different and unique, that still hasn't really been replicated even today. And I'd love to know your thoughts on this game if you have played it yourself, and if so, what do you think of it? Do you think it's as good as people say it is, or maybe not so much? Make sure to share your stories then in the comments below. And if you'd like to see more of these style of videos, where I do provide reviews and gameplay videos of other classic racing games and similar style games that were released on the PlayStation 2, then make sure to leave a like on the video. Again, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon to be updated whenever future videos are released. And also be sure to check out some of the other videos on the channel, where I have provided other gameplay and review style videos of different types of games that were also released on the system back in the day. So make sure to go and check them out, and I will see you all over in the next one.